Today we're at rugby practice. The inaugural season of Queens Rugby starts with a couple of road games, both the men and the women, on September 2nd. Head coach of the men's team, Frank McKinney, is with us. Director of rugby and head coach of the women's team, Katie Wurst, as well. Okay, we're going to do some drills today. Okay. And I want to know what I should be aware of ahead of time before I get started, before we go today.
Well, first, safety. If we're going to do any contact, you want to make sure you have a mouthpiece. You want to make sure you're properly warmed up. We get into dynamic stretching after we usually do some type of warm-up, some type of dynamic warm-up. We're moving the ball, get our heart rate up. Once the heart rate's up, we get into dynamic stretching, and then from then we get into a drill. Make sure you're staying hydrated. We're at the end of the summer here, so it's going to be really hot. Today is not a hot day, but usually it's pretty hot, so make sure you're drinking enough water. Make sure you're drinking water the night before also. So those are the big things to remember.
Katie, are your women going to take it easy on me today?
Well, I mean, we're going to teach you the safe aspects of the sport, and we're going to give you an opportunity to really fall in love with the game. Most of the time, people, they find that when they come out to play it, it's a little confusing at first because it's a different sport, and then you get stuck into it right away, and people just love it. So I think they're going to help you find some real pure enjoyment in playing this game.
All right, I did come prepared because the other day, from Katie Wurst, I got my mouthpiece. I'm molded, ready to go. Let's do it. Let's go get him, Coach.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Balls out.
Where you left? Here you go. Yes. Come on. Good. 20 seconds gone.
Stanton Johnson is here. He's going to teach us how to pass the rugby ball. Okay, Stanton, there's two types of passes. What are they?
There's the flat pass and the spin pass. The flat pass is used for tighter areas, and if someone's right next to you, just take both hands on the bottom of the ball, keep it flat across your chest, and just pass it through like this. And then there's a spin pass, which is used, it's like a spiral. It's used to pass wider and farther out. And you take your left hand for the left-handed pass and put it on the left side on the bottom of the ball and the right hand on the top side of the ball, and you spin it through, and it's the same way with your right hand.
So you can do that in both different directions, and you use the spin pass to cover a greater distance if someone's further away.
Yes, correct.
Okay, what are the rules and restrictions with passing the rugby ball?
You cannot pass the ball forward. It has to go backwards. If you pass the ball forward, it's a turnover. If you pass the ball to someone and they drop it and it goes backwards, they can play on. But if they drop it and it goes forwards, it's also a turnover. So this is a flat pass. It's two hands on the bottom of the ball. Just pass it back to me. That's good. And then for a spin pass, we'd be farther apart. And then you just... He's a natural, folks. Right, left.
Here with Asia Peterson and Bridget Melke of the women's team. Asia, what position do you play?
I play 8-man. 8-man is essentially the last person in the scrum. So when the ball goes into the scrum, it's channeled all the way back to me. When it comes there, I can either choose to take the ball and go or get it out to like our back line.
And when is the scrum used? That's the one term that even the rugby novice has heard before. When is the scrum used?
So essentially if someone knocks on the ball or it bumps off your hands or something and goes forward, that's when a scrum happens. Everything has to be lateral unless it's a kick in rugby.
All right, Bridget, and what position do you play?
I play fly half, which is kind of like a quarterback. I'm in charge of the back line. So that is 4 players on one side. So there's an inside center, outside center, a wing, and then a weak side wing. And we kind of run plays and try to score, I guess. I mean, everyone tries to score, but the forwards more sort of like ruck kind of do like the dirty work for us, and we kind of run plays and pass it out wide.
So we have an 8-man, we have a fly half. What are the other positions on the rugby field that we should know about as the season starts up here in a couple of days?
The scrum half, which is in between us. So she's at the back of the ruck, the 8-man, and I'm at the beginning of the back line, and then the scrum half is the middle person. So she's the person to get the ball out of the back of the ruck or the back of the scrum and transition it to the back line.
Okay, you see me. I'm clearly out of shape, unathletic. What position would I play?
Probably a prop. So
Is that a real position?
yes, so they're in the front of the scrum, and they're usually like a bigger driving force that's gonna power the scrum so we can win the ball back after a penalty.
All right, time for practice. Let's get after it. All right, let's go, girls.
Props. Seconds. Crouch. Bind. Set. That's 9. There we go. Ball.
Here we go.
Why do I have to give up the ball?
Because you have to release it when you're on the ground.
Is that a rule?
That is a rule.
Okay.
If you're on the ground, you're out of the game, Phil.
It's the closest thing to the next downs in football.
Okay.
Got it. So also, when she tackles you, she has to release you. You have to release the ball, she has to release you. She can't hold on to you on the ground. Okay? Here we go. Nice and low. Yeah.
Go.
Staple.
Phil, congratulations. You just retained possession. Good job.
I'm done with this.
7:23.
Balls out.
Let's go, Rella.
Queens on me! 1, 2, 3, Queens!
Post-practice now, we're here in the training room. I'm a bit dinged up, a bit sore, will be for a couple of days. Getting treatment, Normatec's on, try and refresh the legs. Staying hydrated as best I can. Those girls, those guys, they are some tough kids. Come out and check out the Queens Rugby program in its inaugural season. The two teams start on the road. They open the season on September 2nd. The women at Elon University, the men at Furman University. And then the home opener is on September 23rd. Both teams will play a doubleheader, the women first at 12 noon. Both teams taking on Lander University. Come on, check them out at the Queens Sports Complex. It's the inaugural season of Queens Rugby.